So, welcome to another episode of The Warm Up. I'm your host, Connor Murray, today, and we've got a big, sexy goat back this week, Cameron Balmer.
They've waited so good the first time, they've waited him out of the fucking closet.
Yeah, man, we couldn't even wait 2 weeks to have you back. It was that good.
Absolutely. No, happy to be back on. Very much appreciate it.
Pleasure, man. So, today, nice, big, juicy topic. Obviously, we both come from a fitness background, so we're going to be talking a little bit about how to get in unreal shape. Obviously, it's summer coming up. A lot of people are wondering if they're doing the right things, if they're not doing the right things, what they should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing. There's a lot of information out there. We've got a pro in our midst, not literally, but
I was going to say, have I got my pro card already?
Yeah, I haven't got your pro card yet, but you obviously are well versed in everything, and it's my job to help people get in shape. So we're just going to be going through all the basics, all the in-depth stuff, and everything in between. That's basically a one-stop shop on what people may or may not be missing to be getting in unreal shape. But yeah, how are you today anyway? You good?
Well, welcome to the masterclass, guys. I'm good. Good. Productive day so far. Not as lucky as yourself to have hit the gym yet, but definitely on the cards later on. What about yourself?
Yeah, so I don't feel lucky. I had to do 45 minutes of fasted cardio this morning. So again, kind of is a nice wee good example of maybe what it does take to get in shape. I'm having to do the things I don't necessarily enjoy. But we'll probably touch back a wee bit more on the cardio side of things as we go through this. But I wanted to kind of start, somebody, they come to you, they're like, right, I don't know where to even go with this. All right, I've kind of go to the gym, I kind of don't. I'm eating somewhat good, I'm not really. What would you say, is the biggest foundation factor that someone needs to be looking at to start seeing progress, regardless of whether that's building muscle or losing body fat? What is the foundation that needs to be set first and foremost?
First of all, having that realization that they want to change is the biggest part of it. But then the biggest thing that I would stress is not trying to move mountains out of the gate. If you're maybe someone that doesn't have the best routine in place, maybe you don't have the best eating habits, or you don't even go to the gym, you've never picked up a dumbbell in your life, well, you probably shouldn't be jumping on a 1,700 calorie diet if you're a fella, trying to slam loads of protein, and hit the gym 6 days a week or something and go in for 3-4 hour sessions like myself. But yeah, that's not necessary at any point. But yeah, it would just be, remember that saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. It definitely applies here. You need to be realistic. Long-term adherence is always the goal whenever it comes to your fitness journey and actually making progress. Because ultimately, you need to be in it for the long game. Realizing that you want to make a change is the most important part of it. But, you're not going to go from where you are right now, which, depending on your starting point, you might be in an okay spot, you might maybe not be in the best of spots. And the odds are your goals, what your goal physique might look like to you, it might be on the extreme side, it might not. You might just want to lose a bit of weight, but regardless of what that looks like to you, you're not going to achieve it overnight, No,
it needs to be, it's all about consistency.
Yeah.
For me, whenever I started out, God, we're talking a very, very long time ago. TV was in black and white, dinosaurs roamed the earth. And back then, I was only able to get to the gym 3 to 4 days per week max, because I lived with my mom, I lived with my dad. There wasn't a gym near my dad. So I had to get all my sessions in Monday through Thursday.
You were getting lifts and all to the gym.
Yeah.
Driving.
Yeah, it was hectic. But even back then, that was like a minor portion or a minor example of consistency. What would then happen is I would kind of fall out of the way of it, and I would maybe go for 4 months, 5 months, really, really going for it from what I knew back then, and then I would stop for 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I don't really know why. I can't remember. I think it was maybe just circumstantial.
Yeah.
And then what would happen is I was always back to square one, back to square one, back to square one, and I would get really, really far, and I was back to square one. And the biggest change to my physique, it doesn't matter about all the food, the training styles, how many sets to be doing, what exercises to be picking, none of that matters. none of it did matter until I ultimately just continued to go on. Like, you don't win the gym, you don't beat the gym.
No.
Like, beating the gym or winning at the gym is not stopping, because by not stopping you obviously get the result, or you keep the result. So for most people, I think the lack of consistency, like if you're saying to me, oh, I hear this all the time, oh, like this week was going really, really good, Monday through Wednesday. Like,
And then Thursday came.
yeah, and then Thursday came, and you're like, oh, great. So I already know what the rest of that sentence sounds like. And it's such a big pitfall that a lot of people fall into. And I find a lot of it is down to impatience. And what I mean by that is, if you want to get in unreal shape, most people do not look at it from a long-term perspective.
No.
They have a holiday booked in 8 weeks or 6 weeks or something like that. They've got a hen do or a stag do, or they've got something that's coming up, and they're like, okay, I don't have enough fucking time. I need to go 6-7 days a week.
Yeah.
I need to eat fuck all. And then off the back of that,
Put on the cucumber and lemon water.
yeah, man, it's hectic. I'm watching these people and I'm like, you just are going about this completely wrong way. You're making your life miserable, like miserable. Like by doing that, you're making the whole process so unenjoyable.
Yeah.
For yourself, and like the level of adherence, or back to a better word, consistency, that happens off the back of that goes down very, very quickly, and you start to get really demotivated, because that is tough.
Yeah,
very, very
no,
tough.
like being in the trenches and dealing with those tough days, it's not enjoyable.
No.
And yeah, like I would know a thing or two about that, going through a physique competition prep. But like, yeah, if you go, like, it's back to what I said, if you go from like one extreme to the other, the result of that is just going to be like absolute, you're just going to be making your life a living hell. And the odds are, yeah, it's always that, all right, mate, I've got 8 weeks here. I'm looking, do you have any 12-week shred plans? And it's like, no, not really, mate. So what is it about these EAAs that, are they going to make
That's the secret.
The secret.
Mate, the EAAs are the secret.
Testosterone. Oh my days, bro.
I've actually been gatekeeping on the EAAs for years now. Like, I don't tell any of my clients about this really, but like that's the secret to getting shredded.
Yeah, like honestly. No, like I touched on this earlier in the week in some content. Like that could be the topic of a completely different podcast, so we'll not go down that rabbit hole. But the supplement industry and all that, it's like so sexy, and it's like it's the most profitable part of the fitness industry. But in reality, all those products, they just make like 1-2% differences, besides maybe creatine and protein. So if you're looking to get any supplements, those are the two I'd recommend. I don't know about you, but all the rest of it's bollocks. But yeah, mate, like I think 8 weeks, it's not realistically long enough. You need to be looking at things from a far wider perspective. The one thing that I would always say whenever it comes to getting in shape for an event, whether it's wedding, holiday, show, photo shoot, whatever it is, give yourself time. Start earlier.
100%.
It's going to take longer than you think it is going to, and that's with the best will in the world. And no matter how much you batter yourself, in the process.
Yeah, the way I always look at it is, you didn't get fat in 12 weeks.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
you're probably not going to lose it in 12 weeks.
Yeah.
All right. You need to give your body time. You're going to have fuck ups. You're going to have nights out. If you're dieting for 16, 20 weeks, it's a long enough diet for most people. It's going to seem long anyway. The chances are that in that 4 to 5 month period, you're going to want to have a bit of a social life for most people. So allow yourself that, but that means that you're going to have to take longer to diet.
Yeah,
so you can actually have the balance. Not everyone's cut like from your cloth, where they're just like, right,
yeah,
I'm going to diet for 87 weeks and no breaks.
Felt like 87.
But you dieted for like 40, 30.
40, yeah.
So 40, like one diet break, I believe.
One diet break in there, no food that wasn't cooked by myself, by yours truly. No drinking, none of that. But like I realised that's not.
So that's one extreme.
Yeah.
That's obviously, bodybuilding prep, especially for a natural. On the other side of that, the very, very far left side of that, you've got somebody that maybe just wants to lose a couple of pounds.
Yeah.
And I think that the take home here for the foundation is you need to give yourself time, and you need to be consistent, like really, really consistent. And it's not just about consistently turning up to the gym. Like, you need to go for like a week or two with no cheat meals, and then treat yourself. It's not, okay, I've done 3 days and I've had a hard Thursday, I'm going to treat myself tonight to a big dirty Chinese. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's home.
Yes, but like, it's how people are. It's how I've been as well in the past. Like, you do sometimes feel like, oh, I've earned this, but you can't out-train a shitty diet.
Shite diet, yeah. You need to be on it from as many aspects as you can be, in my opinion. But I'm not saying that you have to be like absolutely dialed in to the T. As long as you're conscious of your nutrition, you're boxing that off in the majority of days in the way that you should be. You're getting your training sessions in. You miss one here or there, it's not going to be the end of the world. You're doing your cardio, you're doing your steps, whatever that is. You're just living an active, healthy lifestyle. You're, as well, on the nutrition side, you're maybe focusing a bit more on whole foods as opposed to, you know, the quick and easy options. And then sleep as well, all recovery, all that side of things. As long as you're conscious of these things, you're aware of how they do all come together to sort of form the entire package, well then your odds are you're probably going to do all right for yourself in the long run.
Yeah.
The key thing is though, the long run. Like, there's literally no point jumping on board and doing some ultra regimented, strict diet, you know, not allowing yourself like a square of chocolate in your meal plan or your macros or whatever, if you can only stick to that for 4 weeks.
Yeah, 100%. The diet needs to be enjoyable. I always think, especially when I'm structuring someone's diet or my own, I will always have, say, in a breakdown or a block of 5 meals in the day, I will try and make at least 2, if not 3, to be almost like borderline, like look and taste like a treat. A big, like, I cannot wait for this meal. Because like, the more that you do that and the more frequency of those meals that you have in your day, it doesn't feel like dieting. Yes, you might be hungry because the amount of food isn't there as much, but like, if you're struggling right now and you're thinking, like, I'm going to eat, you know, eggs for breakfast, and then I'll have like a chicken salad for lunch, and then I'll maybe skip my snack, and then for dinner I have some chicken and broccoli. Like, I would never get in shape having to do that, because that sounds like fucking...
It's just borderline. It's just gag. Like, nobody wants to do that.
No.
Yeah, like, as you were saying it, I was sort of vomiting in my mouth a bit. Like, like, no chance, mate. Like, give me a bowl of oats with some like
100%.
And, you know, some frozen berries and dark chocolate every day. Like, that to me is enjoyable.
But I just think a lot of people don't have a clue. Like, they really don't.
A good example, actually, but you kind of touched on it earlier on. Like, you would come in and out of the gym. I actually tried to get in shape 2 years before I made the switch, and now I've got a 3,000 day streak going on my fitness pal, and not the flex. But yeah, like, before that,
the Tinder bio there.
Get that
3,000 day my fitness pal streak tracking my food.
Get that in. I think I cocked it up once, and I fucking emailed them straight away, get that reinstated now, and I did. It was Christmas Day though, to be fair. But yeah, mate, no, I tried to get in shape for like 2 years before I like actually realized, okay, like, this is about making an actual positive lifestyle change, not just something that I need to do to get somewhere and then get there. And but yeah, funny, whenever that was the case, I think both times my diet for the day, I'll never forget, it just consisted of like cheese and crackers and like stupid shit that I thought was healthy. Nuts.
Yeah,
do you know
nuts.
what I mean? Avocado, mate.
This is the biggest thing, right? I don't understand why I'm not losing weight. Quotes, right? Paraphrasing.
Yeah.
I eat so healthy, right? Proceeds to tell me the diet. For breakfast, I have 3 fruits. So there's like 300 calories before you even start. Yeah. A slice of toast and 2 eggs. I'm like, cool. There's half your calories for your breakfast, because you're meant, like, you should probably be on like 1,300 for your size. Cool. What are we going for lunch? I will have like a nice chicken Caesar salad, no carbs. Then you look at it and there's like croutons, smothered in like ranch sauce.
Yeah.
Like hectic. Then we go to
Caesar
dinner.
salad sauce as well. Like,
Yeah, it's just
it's just pure oil, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not great. And then you go to dinner. They're like, okay, I had like potatoes, chicken. I'm like, all right, and we can work with that. And then how do we snack? I'm like, all right, what'd you have for a snack? Well, I had 2. Okay. So I had a Special K cereal bar, and then I followed it up with, I really wanted a wee biscuit. So I had a wee biscuit. Oh, and I had 4 cups of tea and a coffee today. So there's like 300 ml of milk there.
Yeah.
And you're like, right, okay, so you add all this up, you're actually eating like 700 calories over what it would take for you to be in a deficit.
Yeah.
You haven't lost any weight. You might eat healthy because you've had vegetables and fruits.
Yeah.
Like, well done. Like, slow clap there in the background, but you're trying to lose weight. And the difference between, you can eat healthy and lose weight. You can do both.
Mm.
But I think there's a massive misconception of if you just eat nutrient dense foods, you will lose weight.
Progress.
And it's just not.
It's not the case at all. Like, actually, some guy asked me that yesterday, replied to my story when I put a bowl of oats, and he was like, is this a good, like, food for gaining weight? And I was just like, mate, it's a good food.
It's just good
full
food.
stop.
Yeah.
Like, you can gain weight. You can gain weight eating chicken breasts.
Yeah.
Odds are the chances of that are going to be a lot lower in comparison to gaining weight eating pizzas.
Yeah.
Because I could eat 500 pizzas. I don't think I could eat 500 chicken breasts. I'd probably get a bit bored. Do you know what I mean? And I'd probably feel pretty satiated. But it really does not matter at the end of the day where those calories come from. If you're getting calories in and the total number for the day exceeds the amount you expend, well then, unlucky kid. You've probably like put yourself into surplus for a day.
Well, prime example, I'm going to actually give you a throwback. I don't know if you remember this, but for my photo shoot prep, I distinctly remember eating 9 pancakes a day as part of my, like, that was pretty much all my carbs.
Yeah.
And, like, this is not a boast by any stretch of the imagination, but I would have had 3 pancakes for breakfast. I would have trained, had a protein shake, and 3 pancakes. I would have went home, had a packet of 6 sausages on their own with red sauce, and I wasn't trying to like do anything special. I was just like, I really enjoy this.
Yeah.
Like that's the only reason why I was eating it. And then before bed, I would have another box of 3 pancakes, and that was more or less what I had for every single day. And I am not joking you. There was not one moment where I was hungry. I fucking loved it. I would do it again. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
Big man's somebody could come up with a pancake sponsorship. Neutralene, I'm calling you out.
I looked and felt my best, but the thing is, on paper, that setup is just awful. Like, it's awful.
It's shite.
There's no nutrients. It's a lot of sugar.
Where's the veg?
Yeah, there's not really any fill-in foods. It was, like, to paraphrase you, it was gack.
Yeah.
So, do you know what I mean? It was
fantastic choice of word there.
Yeah, but it was horrendous, and it worked.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So there's no set way of eating. That's the point I'm trying to get. There's no set way of eating. You need to eat the way that works for you, but you need to be making sure that you do not overeat. That is the main thing.
Key thing. Yeah, like I remember my first photo shoot I did, I was having, I think I had, now bear in mind it was the grilled version, but I went to McDonald's and got those, like, you know, those chicken wraps? Mm-hmm. Like, they're like 380 calories for the grilled ones. And I used to nail like 2 of them for lunch whenever I was going out for lunch with the lads from the office. And 1, that was allowing me to still be social, but 2, like, is that the optimal use of calories? No. Like, would I be better off having like rice, chicken? Probably, from a satiety standpoint.
But were you hungry though?
No.
Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, this is the thing. Like, and that kind of goes back to kind of, you know, what we were saying previously about balance and working things in.
Yeah.
Like, if you're smart with your choices, you can still go to a McDonald's once in a while and, you know, have something. And then once you have that, it's kind of like a treat.
Yeah.
You know, that's you set for another week to progress, rather than sitting there every single day going, oh, fucking hell, I've not had a wee burger in a while, or not had anything like, you know, fast food or anything that's a bit tastier than my usual chicken, rice and broccoli or whatever.
Yeah. It is important to have the balance. I think, like, the caveat to all of that is you can do it whatever way you want as long as you're in a deficit. Yeah. You will notice a big difference when you eat whole foods and nutrient dense foods, in your skin, in your wakefulness, in your cognitive functioning, in your energy, like how long that energy lasts rather than just a spike, you will notice all those things tremendously, especially after a couple of weeks of doing it. But you don't have to. You know, if you're someone who's busy on the go and you can't be asked meal prepping, mate, 3 boxes of pancakes every single day is £9. Like, you can do it.
Yeah, you can do it. Like,
and it's good. It tastes really good.
Yeah,
So,
it's like kind of what you were saying there about nutrient dense foods. It's like another big one seems to be what's the optimal pre-workout meal, bro? And it's like, what's your choice of carbs and protein? And it's like, if you weigh up, say, a bowl of Cocoa Pops and a bowl of oats, say for talk's sake that's 60 grams of carbs in, you know, both cases. At the end of the day, it's still 60 grams of carbs.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't, the only difference is that bowl of oats, it's probably going to take a bit of it's going to take longer to digest than the Cocoa Pops, because they're going to be faster acting carbohydrates. But it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things where those things come from. And maybe you're not the biggest fan of oats. I personally would not put myself in that boat. I fucking love them. But maybe you would much rather that bowl of Cocoa Pops. Fine. Work away, you know. Yeah. Knock yourself out.
100%. Oats are good. I like them for pre-workout. They have the consistency of cement, which is good. It does fill you for longer.
You ever tried cream or ice?
Yeah, once.
If you ever fancy, you know, switching it up from cement to sand,
that's my ticket.
Yeah,
I don't think I'll be doing that. But it's definitely not for me. I did try it once. It was awful. For anybody that's not in the bodybuilding sphere, just avoid cream or rice. Do not think that is the hack for your taste buds. It's not. Stick to oats.
Just because it comes in a fucking bag or a protein.
It just looks fancy, yeah. So with, you know, we've touched on food. Obviously, you know, if you want to get in unreal shape, you need to be in a calorie deficit. You've got consistency. To get in unreal shape, like we're talking like best shape you've ever been in, obviously it'll differ from person to person. What else does it take to get to that?
I think enjoying your training is massive.
Now, I'm glad you touched on that. I'm glad, because so many people just hate it, and they're just honestly, they're just dragging their fucking fingers through the sand.
Yeah, I remember having early on in my like fitness process and like really getting into training and maybe making a few sacrifices in other areas in terms of nights out and stuff at uni. I actually remember having like a pure Britney Spears breakdown on Facebook and literally saying, I remember.
So that's what happened to your hair?
Yeah. Fuck you. I remember being like, listen, I enjoy going to the gym. It's not, I actually like went off on one about like, I enjoy training.
Is this a status?
Yeah, I was like, I enjoy training. Like, it's not like, oh my God, I have to go to the gym today. Like, I'm sitting here now and I know I have to train legs today and I'm fucking buzzing for it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't wait to get in there. I wouldn't put myself in that bandwagon of like, visualizing my sets, man, and going to bed at the night before thinking about it. But I fucking, whenever I get in there, I love getting after it. It just feels, it feels like the highlight of my day, and it's always felt like that, you know. Back in the day whenever I was first starting training, I remember saying this recently, lad, I would have went home from my sessions and then just whapped up Christian Guzman video, sat marathoned all these videos all day, the rest of the day, looking forward to training the next day. I think you might not be that person, you might not enjoy it that much, but enjoying it to some extent, making sure if you have a coach that you're chatting to them about the movements you enjoy, maybe ones you don't enjoy, making your program as enjoyable a process as much as you can is extremely key.
It's crucial.
Yeah,
it's crucial. It is crucial. Like,
and making sure you actually have a program as well.
Yeah, well, there's an even better starting point. Like, if you're walking into the gym and you don't have a baldy notion where you're going, what you're training, how many sets you're doing, how many reps you're doing, and I'm going to be honest with you, it doesn't really matter how many reps and sets. There's you know, regions that you should be aiming for, but like if you're doing 10 or you're doing 13, like you're still gonna, if you're pushing yourself closer to failure, you're going to be changing your body in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But if you do not have that structure, you are literally just guessing, and you don't know if you're progressing or not. You have no method of tracking it. There's just, you know, if you were to turn up to your job and someone's just like, yeah, just do shit.
Just you far away there.
Just do shit. And you're like, okay, but how do I know if I'm doing like the right job to keep my job? And they're like, I'll just, figure it out. Do you know, it's just stabbing in the dark and hoping something sticks, and you can't do that. You do need to track to some degree. Whether that is, okay, here's my baseline. I'm going to do these 5 exercises for this muscle group each week. This is my baseline. I don't want to track every single week, but by this time in 3 months, when I review it, I should be lifting more in all of those exercises.
Yeah.
That's a really regressed way of tracking, but it's still making sure that you're moving in the right direction. If you get to the end of that 3-month block and you haven't changed, then obviously you need to change something that you're doing.
Yeah. That, or you're in a calorie deficit, which, arguably whenever you're in a calorie deficit or dieting, and hopefully not that.
It pretty much is dying.
On the inside, anyway. At that stage, you're probably just going to be fighting to hold on to performance. But there's no reason why you can't make gains in a diet as well.
No, I would say definitely for the first 10 weeks of a diet, it's
easy,
more than doable. Like you should still be progressing in strength. If you're already training, that's definitely feasible. If you're coming from an untrained background, so you haven't been going to the gym, if you do a 16-week diet, you should be getting stronger right up until the last day, because your body's just primed for this new stimulus. It doesn't know what's going on. It doesn't have any kind of prerequisite of anything.
Yeah.
Do you know, unless you're lifting logs or something, you're a fucking big sexy lumberjack.
Lumberjack, walking into the gym with a shirt on.
Yeah.
Mate, you kind of touched on it there as well. I think, I know there's a bit of there seems to be a bit of resistance, with regards to actually tracking your sessions, whether that be on an app or on a logbook. I don't know what it is. Some people just don't like pen and paper in the gym and logging stuff. I do. To me, that's half the fun of it. You want to be going in there and knowing what you did the previous week and trying to beat that. That's what for me, it's addictive.
Yeah, so back to the point that you were saying about making things enjoyable. This is the advice that I give to all my clients. It's one of the reasons behind the tracking, and you've literally just hit it like nail on the head. As people, as humans, we love things that we feel that we are good at.
Yeah.
So if you consistently see that you're progressing, you're getting better and better and better and better, your confidence then each week is going up and up and up and up.
Of course.
You're obviously going to be like, this shit's fun. I want to keep doing this. This is really good. Because chances are, especially if you're going like 3, 4, 5 times a week, you're probably not putting that much time into anything else in your life aside from your job. Like the gym is quite an intensive hobby in terms of time. So you start excelling in the gym, it starts to be the main thing in your life that you're like seeing some really fast net reward from in terms of how you feel. That becomes very, very addictive very quickly. And that's all off the basis of writing down what you lifted. Like for something that takes 2 seconds, if you're pushing yourself hard, the following week you beat that, you're walking out of that gym being like, I am fucking Hercules.
Yeah.
Do
you feel like you can
it's unreal. Like it's so good. It's one of the best feelings ever.
Yeah.
Jinx, man.
I know. What, for fuck's sake. It's like whenever you hit a PB and it's like a solid PB, like it's not one of them ones where like it's a deadlift and you look like a shitting dog, like finishing the rep.
Yeah, like it felt comfortable.
Yeah, like a solid, personal best. There's no better feeling.
No.
And then whenever you associate that with the natural endorphin release that you experience from working out and training as well, it's a ruthless combination, to be honest.
It is brilliant.
But something I wanted to touch on as well, just to maybe finish this segment off about like the importance of training. Make sure you have an actual plan and you're putting yourself in that situation where you can go in every single week and try and beat numbers. It's weird, like sometimes I think we forget that things aren't maybe as natural to people starting out as they are to maybe the likes of me or yourself. But like I still get questions asking, do you need to be training the same things every week, same exercises on the same days? Mm-hmm. It's really important to have a routine and a structure because one, doing that actually gives you the platform to progress consistently over time. If you're going in and just doing random movements for back each time in a different order as well, you're going to be fatiguing yourself before you maybe reach that point in a session or whatever. But as well, from a recovery and rest standpoint, you want to be leaving at least like 48 to 72 hours before you work out a specific body part or muscle group again. You know, there's no use going in and slamming legs every single day, which I was quite surprised that, like, there's still people that do that.
Yeah, but like this is, your body is going to be the best illustrator of what is going on. So if you're going in, the general consensus is 48 to 72 hours in between your muscle groups that you, so if you hit a chest on a Monday, Thursday's the next time you hit it.
Yeah.
Roughly. If you hit your chest on a Monday, say you do 6 sets.
Yeah.
And it gets to the Wednesday morning and you feel good to go.
Yeah, yeah.
Then you can train your chest on the Wednesday. Now, obviously, you know, you probably in that context, you won't have trained all the other muscle groups. So, you know, it is obviously a balance of, do you need to? Is it a stronger body part? And again, that's getting into a lot more advanced kind of lifting and stuff like that. But general rule of thumb, it should take you about, you know, 48 hours to 72 hours. If you're training, I would say to failure up to about 1 to 2 reps to failure, in that kind of range. Yeah, it should take you that long. If you get to, you know, like I say, Wednesday and you're not sore and you could probably go, then it's maybe a case of looking at your Monday session and being like, okay, I could probably take either a little bit more volume. So instead of 6 sets, let's maybe try 8. Or be honest with yourself. Are you actually training to failure?
Yeah.
Do you know, I do think there is a balance. I don't think that every set needs to always be taken to failure. Like there's been peer-reviewed studies done on this.
Yeah, of course.
You will get the most amount of hypertrophy from going to failure, hands down. But it's like an extra couple of % more versus if you train to say 1 rep in reserve. So basically instead of going right to failure, you stop 1 rep before you get there.
Yeah.
The amount of systemic fatigue that is gathered in the body from going to failure, so just from doing that extra rep, is maybe like a 10% more, 11% more, 12% more, but you might only be getting like 1 to 2% extra hypertrophy gains. So it's a bit of a balance and a trade-off there. If you're somebody that does have poor recovery,
Yeah.
you know,
I was gonna say.
then it might be worthwhile maybe not taking all your sets to failure, maybe do most of them, and then just some maybe where you're stopping very, very close. And I know that's going to be a wee bit of a sticky topic for, especially for a lot of bodybuilders, because most bodybuilders, actually all bodybuilders, take everything to failure all the time, no matter what. And that is like die hard fucking, we need to do this. But most people aren't bodybuilders, and most people don't want to be sore all the time.
Yeah.
Do you know, and most people want to feel recovered. It just is what it is. And I think for
like, mate, if you're lifting fridges all day or something, or like working,
you don't want to be going in and doing like.
I remember I used to be like walking about, and like my biceps would be sore 2 days after training them because I'd taken them to full failure.
Yeah.
And I'm lifting TVs and fridges in Curry's warehouse.
Did you work in Curry's?
Part time, like part time while I was at uni. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
I was wondering why you were bringing up fridges. I actually was.
Sick.
Yeah, but exactly. So there's a key point, and especially somebody that's not taking steroids, your recovery is going to be worse.
Yeah.
So, it is a bit of a balancing act, and this is where it's so beneficial to track all of your data in terms of, you know, just rating everything. What I do with my clients is get them to rate everything 1 out of 10. How's your fatigue today? 1 out of 10. How's your recovery? 1 out of 10. How's your sleep? 1 out of 10. Do you know, and just go through all the kind of relative feedback markers that would directly affect your performance, your progress, or your recovery. If seems to be something's going too high, then pull it back for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And it is just a balancing act.
Yeah. No, the key thing is like, you want to make sure that you're pushing yourself in your training, and you are, as you said, like the majority of the time going to failure, because ultimately training is, you know, the concept of progressive overload, which is essentially just the idea that each time we go into the gym, we try and progress through that, through putting more strain and, you know, requiring more effort from your muscles. That's how we're going to elicit an adaptation at the end of the day and force them to grow.
Yeah.
Through that, yes, you know, we want to make sure we're doing that, but it's of absolutely no use to you if you can't recover from it, because then you're just going to put yourself into a hole. And again, going back to what was said earlier, Well, if you're finding yourself in a hole and you're just feeling absolutely terrible, probably going to have to take a couple of days off. It goes back to that long term.
Define hole, because there's a couple of guys I'm sure would maybe think of a hole as something else.
Something else, sorry, yeah. That's actually a very good point. Fuck's sake. Yeah, I'll say just putting yourself into just
Like heavily fatigued.
a heavily fatigued state. I've been there, so I know what it's like, and it's not fun.
So yeah, like it's basically overtraining.
Yes.
So just a quick one. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but if you are overtrained and you are not sure if you're overtrained, what are the key things that you would be looking for in terms of symptoms that your body needs a break? What would somebody be looking for?
There's a couple. For me, a big one is sleep. I notice straight away I start sleeping more. Like we're talking, I need 9 hours to feel like I would usually at 7, for example. So that's a big one. Feeling tired outside of the gym, like
all the time.
All the time. Like you need a coffee or a Monster, on tap to keep you awake throughout your day. Another one, in your sessions, you've maybe started to notice, we're not talking like major regressions here, but you might have started to notice that, say you're in a calorie surplus, your performance shouldn't really be going downhill, if you're controlling all the other variables. And maybe you've started to notice over the last week or two that reps have just started to go. You've started to shed a few plates off machines. Maybe things just don't feel quite as good as they usually do. Those would be the biggest two for me. The one there with regards to rest is the biggest one. You'll probably notice as well you feel quite sore. Obviously, yeah, to a point we're all going to feel sore when we're going in and putting ourselves through hell in a 1.5 hour, 2 hour session. But yeah, if you notice yourself feeling extremely tender, your joints just aren't in the best place, there's a lot of telltale signs that maybe a pullback, a deload, a devolume, or just a pullback in terms of your training volume is necessary. Another good one is just if you're training legs twice a week, you shouldn't be going into that second leg session of the week feeling smashed still through the legs. Maybe, feeling a touch of fatigue if you are someone that recovers maybe a wee bit less ideally from a leg session like myself. That's understandable, but you shouldn't be going in feeling smashed to the point where it's going to hinder you.
No, but then in that circumstance, you look at the first session of the week and you pull the volume back.
Exactly.
Another key one, if you are overtrained and you're not sure, that this is a big telltale one too actually that you haven't mentioned, is your enjoyment of the gym just goes. You just don't want to go to the gym anymore. That's a massive indicator. You kind of feel like you're forcing yourself to go. Say if you pull back for a week, 6 days, 7 days, 8 days, maybe even 9 days, depending on how into the hole you are. Watch that drive and that want to go back to the gym skyrocket. You'll be itching like a bull, wanting to run. And then the last one would be you're not getting pumps. So if you're training hard, and I've been in this circumstance so many times because I do overtrain, probably more than I would like to admit. The big one is, you're just going through the motions. You can't really feel it. The burn, the pump, you're just not getting it. A huge indicator that you're overtraining, especially if you're not in a huge calorie deficit.
Yeah. Like if you're it's like I said earlier, if you're touching on all these variables, you're putting yourself in a great position, food wise, sleep wise, but you're going into the gym, you can't get a pump. It's kind of like the gym equivalent to not being able to get it up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much it is, yeah.
It's devastating. Fuck's sake. So
that reminds me of Greg Duchette. For anyone who doesn't know him, he's basically Super Mario of the fitness space, but he has I think it's a Viagra replacement, and it's called Better Than Last Time.
Yeah.
It's the best name ever. It's fucking class. Better Than Last Time. It's very, very good. But yeah, obviously you've touched on, this one in the overtraining side of things. And this one is something that is a massive interest to me, and it is sleep.
Yeah.
And the importance of sleep. So if you're fucking up sleep, you're fucking up everything else in your whole routine, hands down. There's so much science. There's just science and shit.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's it, bro. There's just so many fucking studies behind this. No, sleep is an absolutely critical part
crucial.
of the process. Yeah, like if you're sacrificing on sleep, like in my mind, less than 6 hours just does not compute for me. I understand people have different things going on in their lives. You might have to sacrifice on sleep. Maybe you've got kids, and that's a whole different kettle of fish there. But yeah, mate, like especially whenever on both sides of the coin, like if you're trying to gain muscle, your focus is, bulking up and gaining weight. Well, when does the actual muscle repair process take place? When you're resting, when you're sleeping. You grow outside of the gym. Yes, we do the work that we need to force the adaptations in the gym, but you grow outside of it, so your recovery is vitally important. So sleep is extremely important then, but when you're dieting as well, I spent a lot of time sleeping last year.
Yeah, fucking right, you did.
In bed for 6.
Cameron, do you want to play a bit of Call of Duty tonight? Nah, sorry.
Friday night, what are you up to?
Just in bed here.
Just in bed, mate.
Mate, it's fucking 5:20. Are you all right?
Class.
But yeah, no, it does. It resets your whole body. It resets even your hormones in your body, and I know you'll touch on this in a minute, but stuff like ghrelin, leptin, which are your hunger hormone. You've got cortisol, which is your stress hormone.
Yeah.
These things, when not in a point or a level of homeostasis, will negatively impact your physique. It will negatively impact how you look. It will negatively impact all the processes within the body, such as your thyroid, your metabolism. Like if you're someone that's saying to me, I go to the gym a couple times a week, I eat healthy, but I don't track my food, and I get crap sleep. I go to bed every night at 2 a.m. playing Call of Duty or whatever, watching Netflix. The first thing I'm going to say to you is, okay, you need to start fixing your sleep first. Because if you don't have your sleep in tune, there's no point fixing your diet or trying to fix your diet. Because if your sleep shit, you're going to be really hungry. It's going to make you hungrier.
Yeah.
If you're sleeping shit, cortisol is going to be up, the stress hormone, which is going to make you hold more water retention, which is going to give the illusion that you're holding more weight than what you are. It's also going to just completely zap and fuck up your energy. It's going to fuck up your motivation for going to the gym. Everything. It is like the foundation just above consistency that we obviously touched on. For me, like sleep is the one thing that I hammer to everybody.
Yeah. No, I actually would have been someone, I still am quite uptight about sleep. Like if something is holding me back from sleep or I'm awake, I don't react well to it. It is the cornerstone to success, in my opinion, whenever it comes to your own muscle building process or just developing your physique in general. And to be honest, you're probably just not going to be the best crack either if you're sacrificing on sleep. We've all had them days.
I don't know, you weren't too much crack last year and you were sleeping more than anybody I've ever met.
But bit different there, mate. I had about fucking 5% body fat and my arse looked like a walnut. But yeah, it was sore to sit down. No, it's vitally important, and like you just said, the hormonal impact it has as well. If you're sleeping for quite a small part of the day, think about it, your eating window then is expanded as well. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying spend your entire day in bed, but I remember whenever I was a student and I was sleeping like 9-10 hours a day because I was just a bit of a degenerate.
It makes dieting easier.
It makes dieting piss.
Yeah, because you're only up for,
Big man was dieting on Special K.
Yeah, but it does make it so much easier. If you're awake, like there's a couple of days of the week where I generally don't get that much sleep, like 5 hours.
Yeah.
It's 1 to 2 days per week. And it is like clockwork. So every single Friday is one of them. I'm up at 5. My first meal is at 6. It's 6:30. I do not get home into the house until probably 9, 9:30 at night. That is a long day trying to space your meals out because we're going on the basis here that you're sticking to, some form of structure or calories or whatever. If you have a certain amount of calories and you're trying to make that stretch across 10 to 12 hours versus make that stretch over 17 to 18 hours.
Yeah.
There's the 5 hour gap. That's half a day for some people, do you know,
Yeah.
where you're not getting any extra food. It does make things a hell of a lot easier or harder if you just go about it the right way.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think as well, to be honest, if you're the type of person, I mean, I'm hectic for this, so, you know, I'll hold my hands up. If you're the type of person that relies on a medical dose of caffeine to keep you awake throughout the day, you probably you need to be maybe, you know, putting a bit more emphasis on the importance of your sleep and nailing that aspect of things, because it improves everything as a result. Getting a consistent sleep-wake cycle, getting your circadian rhythm down, it's just going to do you the world of good in your fitness process, but to be honest, probably outside of that as well.
Yeah, 100%. If you are somebody that does struggle with sleep, so you're sitting listening to this and you're like, okay, I get it, I really get it, but I struggle with sleep. You touched on something there, which is very, very key to getting your kind of routine in place, and it's your circadian rhythm. So essentially, whenever we wake up and go to sleep, our body has an internal clock that kind of works with the earth, if you would. And I know it sounds like star signs and fucking all the rest of it and tarot cards.
We're holding gemstones here and reading the
sitting and rubbing something. Oh, looks a bit different on camera. but yeah.
Is this on YouTube or what?
Yeah, it's going to be on YouTube. So subscribe to my OnlyFans. No, I'm only joking. The thing here is like your body does have an internal clock.
Yeah.
And essentially what you want to do is try to switch that clock. It's almost like a timer rather than a clock. So you want to switch that timer on as soon as you can for when you wake up, so that essentially when it's going like time for bed, it is when you would ideally like to go to bed. And how you do that is, there's a couple of ways doing it, but one of the key ones that's been proven, so there's been studies done on this, is if you go outside, like as soon as you wake up, as quick as you can get out the door to sunlight, and you basically want to immerse yourself in the sunlight. Don't look into the face of the sun, because you know that's bad advice.
Yeah,
but kind of just keep not walking about with your head down. You're kind of looking up, letting the eye kind of take in as much light as you can. If it's a really, really sunny day, 10 minutes. If it's kind of overcast, 20. If it's like a super overcast day, you need to go be out in it for about 30. And basically what that does is whenever the light comes into your iris, it kind of triggers that process within the body to kind of kickstart your adenosine system and kickstart your circadian rhythm essentially. And then off the back of that, say a 12 to 14 hour timer starts, which then starts to have you peaking in and around midday. That differs from person to person, but in and about 12 to 3 or 4 p.m.
Yeah.
And then you start to kind of wind down towards bedtime. And then, you know, just having really, really good sleep hygiene. You know, going to sleep roughly at the same time every night. Try not to go around blue light too much. We've all heard like all these things, but it does really make a big
blue
difference.
light blockers make a massive difference. I know not necessarily everybody wants to wear them because you look like a bit of a freak wearing orange tinted glasses.
You look like what's the name of the guy? Cyclops in X-Men.
Yeah. Oh, fuck's sake, yeah.
And we'll just put a photo up with that right there. But yeah, your blue light glasses, like you do use them and you swear by them. Like,
yeah, because I'm the type of person, probably like yourself, but you just probably been that advice off. I spend a lot of time in front of computer monitors, like we're talking even up until 10, 11 o'clock at night, which probably isn't ideal if I'm trying to nail my own processes. So yeah, I actually haven't been using them for the last month, and I've had, surprise, pretty crap sleep. Started using them 2 nights ago again. I've had 2 good nights of sleep. Do you know what I mean? Use
code CAM2024 for 10% in his pocket.
Exactly. I wish. But yeah, no, I think you kind of touched on it there. Like having good sleep hygiene's massive. And something else that I'm very big on and would recommend to a lot of my clients. I know it's hard. Like sometimes I don't take my own advice here, but giving yourself an hour a day at the end of the day to, whether it's sitting in front of the TV and watching a film or
just switch off
series with your partner, or whether it's fucking playing Call of Duty or, you know, journaling, whatever it is, reading a book, whatever you enjoy doing, to just switch off.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously de-stress after.
I'm actually glad you brought that one up, because it's something that I've started doing, but I haven't consciously thought about doing it. There was a while there where I was working right up, like I was in bed still doing work. The light was off. I couldn't sleep. Was back doing work, and you need that kind of separation between when something finishes. You kind of finishing a task. Let your body unwind. It really, really does make a big, big difference. I even find, I know you kind of mentioned it there about like playing Xbox or something as an example. Again, this will differ from person to person, so it is about kind of trial and tribulation with what works for you. For me, I still struggle if I play any type of like Xbox or anything like that right up to bed, because my brain is like you think when you're going hard and there's like 3 boys left in Warzone and you're like against them, your brain is not switching off.
On the adrenaline's kicking in.
Yeah. So
you're one off a nuke.
Yeah, like you want that nuke. So yeah, you want to be keeping your, the balance. Obviously, it does differ from person to person. Yeah. And like you said, obviously about caffeine, limit your caffeine. Like try to not drink caffeine as best you can past 2 or 3 in the afternoon, depending on how sensitive you are.
Yeah, the half-life of caffeine is around 6 hours. You want to cut that off about 6 hours before you even start your wind down process. So yeah, for most people that's 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I definitely notice whenever that's not the case, whenever I slam some pre-workout for a heavy leg session at 6 o'clock at night. Well, congratulations, brother. You've just royally fucked up your
you completely you've dropped the ball
to sleep here. Yeah. But yeah, no, sleep is a huge, huge part of it.
So you dial in your sleep, you dial in your consistency. You figured out that you don't just have to eat healthy, but you actually need to essentially eat under your maintenance, count your calories maybe. You're tracking your process, all right? You're doing all the things now. You're starting to see the physique come back to life. You're starting to see some lines, some divots, some bumps where you've never seen them before. You're like, oh, that's pretty good. Do you remember back when you started to feel like this? Right? Yeah. I do. And there's again, black and white TVs, Stone Age, dinosaurs. Like it was a long time ago. What do you think are the main positives for somebody that's never been in unreal shape, or even somebody that's maybe just never felt body confidence? What are the positives that they are missing out on?
I was gonna take a drink. I'm keen to jump in here. I think the biggest one for me is confidence. Like, yeah,
you mean that Riz master?
Yeah, I wish. No,
doctor, I've been diagnosed with Riz.
Fucking hell. Get that cut. No. Mate, the feeling. One of the things I love hearing, it actually makes me smile thinking about it now, is you spend all this time focusing on getting in shape. You go on that holiday with your mates, right? Mm-hmm. You're there. You're the one that's putting a bit more effort in. You're feeling confident in your physique. No issues taking the top off. I remember back in the day, I used to be ashamed to take my top off.
Yeah, so did I. I was embarrassed, heavily embarrassed. So if you're feeling like that at the minute, it's totally normal. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, one of the best feelings I've ever had. That has gone. Even at the top of my off seasons now, just because I have a bit of muscularity in my physique, I don't have any issues taking the top off. But bro, every time that question, you're standing there with a beer on a beach in Spain, you've maybe dieted, you've done some work, you've got yourself into good shape for the summer, and your mate's there, he's there, he's not really made any effort. Mate, how can you drink beers like that and eat food like this, because you've obviously been partaking in the activity on holiday, as everyone does, and be in that shape? And every time I'm just like,
just that good.
Yeah, just that good. It all paid off. No, I think that feeling is unbelievable. The confidence that comes with the confidence that comes with being on top of your process, from a physique standpoint, is the biggest thing for me. Mm-hmm. Obviously, as well, a big one, which I know we touched on previously, is everybody's probably started out, if you're a guy, thinking,
you're going to get girls.
I'm going to get girls.
Going to get those honeys, going to get that Riz.
Maybe I might get a few DMs here, or a few more Tinder matches, but everyone knows it doesn't actually turn out that way. You just end up with people in your DMs asking you for socks, and other items.
Feet pics, mate.
Yeah, other items. Fantastic physique, mate.
Yeah.
And it's just like, cheers. Or lads in the gym. They're the biggest, they're the biggest fucking compliment providers. But yeah, for me, if you're not nailing your process and you're maybe, you're in the back of your head thinking about making a change, but you haven't done so, that's probably the biggest thing you're missing out on. It's just that level of confidence.
The confidence is fucking mental. Like,
I can't imagine being any other way now.
No, but again, it's not instantaneous. But like, if you get everything dialed in quickly from when you first start, you can start to feel that in the first 12 weeks. Like, you'll start to see those changes. That becomes addictive, and then it just kind of snowballs as you go. Another big one for me, that if you, especially in 2024 nowadays, like instant everything delivery, you can get anything from your phone, Domino's, Amazon Prime, even movies that are in the cinema. Like, they're in the cinema for like a week and then they're on Prime, and you can just buy it on Amazon. Like, it's everything is just at the click of your fingers. It really, really serves well to practice and learn delayed gratification.
Yeah,
and I think
massive.
The gym just amplifies that. The gym, like, a good body is something, it's the only thing that you cannot buy. You have to work for it. You can't be given like a lucky pass. You can't buy it in a shop. There's nothing that you can do to get around it. Yes, you can get like implants and all that weird fucking,
you're gonna look shite in 5 years.
It just doesn't look the same. And then, do you know what I mean? So you can't buy that. And the confidence of knowing that you back yourself because you got yourself there on your own accord, that confidence, aside from the physical, just knowing like, I said I was going to do this and I fucking did it, that level of confidence just amplifies everything. But yeah, the delayed gratification really transpires into so many other aspects in your life.
Yeah.
And the whole process of setting goals and kind of reverse engineering them. So like, I want to compete in a couple of years, or I want to get in unreal shape for this holiday. Cool. There's the end goal. How do you go about that? You break it into multiple small goals, and then you break that into maybe like daily processes. Yeah. That whole kind of methodology, again, you can like, applies to
you can apply
anything,
that to everything.
Anything. But you don't really consider that before you, much before you go to the gym. You're kind of just like, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur, and you don't really think about it. But like, you learn this in school. You just don't really think about it. You're like, I want to be a doctor. Cool. Well, how do you get to being a doctor? Well, you have to do these subjects. These subjects are like small stepping stones, and each one of those subjects you have coursework and homework, and that's like the daily processes. It's the same thing with the gym.
Yeah. No, I noticed that massively. Like, yeah, the confidence was a big thing for me. I was a shy kid, always was. Mm-hmm. But all of a sudden, after my first initial few years training, start to come out of my shell a bit more. I've surrounded myself with a lot of like-minded people. I always find that as well. Like, there's something about the people in the gym. It's just we're all just kind of, most of us anyway, we're of the same sort of, cut from the same sort of cloth, most of us. We're all there trying to better ourselves. We're all investing in ourselves. And outside of the gym as well, I just noticed that all of a sudden I became a lot more driven in everything that I was doing.
Yeah.
I was applying the mindset that I was, putting into practice whenever it came to my physique and my physique goals to work, career, other goals as well.
But you know why? Because
cross transfers.
Yeah. When you're sitting there and you're not in shape and you're unhappy about not being in shape, what that resonates in your brain is, I don't even have control of myself, never mind anything else that's going on outside of me. I don't know how to manipulate or change the thing that nobody else can do for me, because it's me. I'm the only person that's the captain of this ship.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how to change that. So there's a lack of trust in yourself, and a lack of confidence in yourself that you can do that. So then when you look at other things, they seem even more kind of daunting. Yeah. Where when you actually get in shape, again, it will differ from person to person what that is, and you start to build that trust up with yourself, where you can control your own body. You can control the direction you want to go. If you want to build muscle, lose body fat, you actually have direct control over your own confidence now. Well, shit, then everything else just seems like way more doable.
Yeah, it's like you take the reins for once.
Yeah, of your fucking life.
Of your own life.
Yeah.
and you're leveling up in the gym. Cool. Like, it's probably not going to be as arduous a task to then level up from a career standpoint. If you want to be earning more money, maybe you want to, I don't know, whether it's goals from a relationship, family, all these sorts of things. Maybe you want to travel more, all these things, like, originally you might have put off and just been like, oh, well, I'd love to do that, or that's not me. I think after I started training and I sort of got a taste for what it was like to tick off a goal and really take control of the direction I was heading in, then I sort of, realized, oh shit, like, it's actually not as scary a thought to, take a leap in these other areas as well.
Yeah, because you've proven to yourself. It's all about proving to yourself. I can do shit that I think I want to do. Yeah. That's what it's all about.
When you start out, odds are you probably don't have much belief, but it starts to compound and compound. So, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that is it. So, but yeah, I mean, that is it. So that is the key takeaway. So if you are, in the mind of getting in shape at the minute, and you're just not sure how to go about it, hopefully this has helped. And, hopefully our wee kind of anecdotal experiences of how it's benefited our lives has maybe hit home, and you can take something from it. So it's been a pleasure, Cam.
Thank you very much. Yes.
As always. If you've enjoyed this episode, please give us a nice big like on YouTube, or alternatively, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music, please give it a rating. It would mean the world to me. I'm not sure what it really does, but I think it does help. All right, so it's been a pleasure. See you guys in the next one. We are here every single Monday. Stay tuned. See you then.